This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon.
Big cities like this one suck. They're crowded, noisy, and expensive. Sometimes you even have to pay money to park your car. We'd all be better off spreading out the population and jobs. Grow some smaller cities, maybe even create some new ones.
This is a common response to the problem of housing affordability in bigger centers. In this video, I want to explain why this admittedly appealing idea isn't as simple as it seems.
Here's the first problem I don't think people fully internalize when they suggest this. We don't live in a command economy where governments directly decide where to put people or jobs. With the exception of the public sector, which I'll come back to later, cities grow and become big when individuals and businesses individually decide to locate there.
Let's say you think NYC is too big and cities upstate should grow instead. That's not something governments can just decree. At best, you can pull levers to nudge people. Maybe make infrastructure investments in upstate cities. Streamline permitting to make it easy to build up there. Or offer tax incentives or subsidies. Those aren't bad things to do. Definitely not the first two. But there's no guarantee they'll work, or that they'll work well enough to really change the course of NYC. Revitalizing upstate New York is not a new idea. Lots has already been tried. There have been successes in downtown revitalization, investments in research and medical centers. There have also been boondoggles and corruption on the scale of hundreds of millions of dollars. Upstate cities have actually had populations stabilize or even grow a little for the first time in decades, which is good. But it's a drop in the bucket compared to the scale of New York City. So my first problem with grow more cities is that we overestimate how much power we have to make people and jobs go where we want them.
And then it's used as a deflection or a justification for big city NIMBYism. It's okay that the big city is so restrictive on housing. What we really need to do is grow smaller cities.
The reality is that we have much more power to block development in New York City than we have to make people or jobs go upstate specifically.
Another problem with grow more cities is that a lot of people fundamentally don't understand why cities exist and grow big in the first place. I live in Montreal, Quebec. This city has a big concentration of aerospace companies like Bombardier. Lots of video game companies like Ubisoft. There's a big AI sector too. This research institute was founded in 1993, so it's way deeper than the recent ChatGPT boom. Like anywhere, we have retail and service jobs too, teachers and bus drivers, but those are some of the jobs that might draw you specifically to this city.
If you're starting a company in video games or aerospace, there are major benefits to setting up shop here. You'll have access to lots of talented employees. You might be a supplier of goods or services to another company. You take ideas and make connections and partnerships.
She's the founder of Studio Lazulite, a studio that offers design services to independent video game developers. Astwood says Quebec is a powerhouse in video game production, so setting up shop in Montreal was a no-brainer.
Then if you're a worker in video games, aerospace, or AI, you're drawn to this city because of all the different companies to work for and the room for advancement.
The exact same principle applies to biotech and life sciences in Boston, banks, consulting, and insurance in Sydney, making addictive apps in the San Francisco Bay Area. People and jobs like to cluster because of agglomeration effects. This wasn't always the case. Back when people were farmers or blacksmiths, there wasn't as much of a reason to live in a city of millions. Lots of jobs still don't care. You can be a plumber anywhere that has pipes, a family doctor anywhere that has people. Big city, small city, it doesn't matter that much for your job. But in modern specialized economies, many industries do benefit from clustering.
To put it another way, everybody knows the film industry in Los Angeles and finance in New York. But there aren't any cities out there that are associated specifically with mechanics. They exist in every city.
Imagine we replaced Montreal, an aerospace hub of 36,000 jobs, with 6 different hubs of 6,000 jobs each. Not saying the government has that power, but let's imagine.
We'd probably have a less efficient, less competitive industry. You'd have to ship parts longer distances. It would be harder to have meetings. Each worker would have fewer employers to choose from. You're now further away from the universities that support the industry. What if your aerospace job gets moved somewhere else, but your spouse still works in video games here? It probably sounds like I'm a big city supremacist, but I'm actually not. There are tons of smaller cities I love, bike-friendly ones in particular.
And I'm not saying small city economies are doomed, only that they're different. When I say small city, I'm thinking maybe 50,000 to 500,000 in the metro area, roughly. Places like this can't really replicate the variety and depth of specialized jobs that you get in a place like NYC, London, or Sydney. Things like biotech, finance, and aerospace. Smaller cities often thrive as regional centers for healthcare, education, government services. Small cities can be a great place to go to university, especially as an undergrad. Some types of research and industry collaboration benefit from being in a big city, though. Smaller cities can support surrounding rural industries like farming, mining, and forestry. Land-intensive industries like manufacturing and logistics. Tourism is often big in small cities. Smaller cities can sometimes build up specialized job clusters, even if not on the same scale. Oxford and Cambridge in the UK are both strong in biotech, but it helps to be in the orbit of a bigger city. In this case, London. Stable, world-class universities help a lot too.
And this is really important. Small cities with strong or specialized economies like that will often find that people want to move there.
Which puts them in conflict with many existing residents who don't want change. They don't want growth, which is exactly like the conflicts we talk about in bigger cities. Would you be surprised if I told you that Oxford and Cambridge both have their own housing crises due to demand to live there outstripping the supply of housing?
Remote work changes things a bit.
San Francisco has weakened as a tech center because a lot of software jobs can be done remotely, but it hasn't collapsed. It's still the biggest tech hub, just a little less dominant than before. And lots of other sectors don't work as well remotely. Also, yes, remote work lessened pressure in some big centers, but the smaller centers that people moved to saw prices explode. That's not solving affordability, it's just shifting it around. Replacing big city NIMBYism with small city NIMBYism. Is that really the solution to housing? Unlike the private sector, government jobs can be directly moved around by policy. You can literally create a whole new city as a capital if you want. I don't recommend it. It's wildly and absurdly expensive, but it's an option. More practical is moving some jobs out of the capital to boost weaker regions. Canada did this with the major federal department HQ in the 70s. Veterans Affairs was moved to a small city on the East Coast. It became an important anchor in an economically weaker region. But very few employees were willing to move. They didn't want to leave their kids' school or their spouse's jobs or whatever else. The department had to rebuild itself almost from scratch. Specialized skills were harder to find in the small city. There was a lot more travel back and forth. Many senior managers stayed behind in the capital. Nothing on the same scale has been attempted since in Canada. Other government jobs seem to be better candidates than policy-heavy HQs. Tax processing offices, regional services obviously, military bases, agricultural research labs. All of these either don't care as much, or they're actively better in the regions than the capital. Really, the public sector isn't that different from the private sector on this. Some jobs benefit a lot from being clustered together, and some jobs don't. Even when a job could work elsewhere, there's a cost to moving. The U.S. Bureau of Land Management headquarters was moved from D.C. to Colorado in 2020. Not a crazy idea. Most of their land, employees, and field offices are in the West. But the move lost them 87% of their HQ staff. A few years later, they moved the headquarters back to DC. Locating outside the capital when opening a new agency or office doesn't have the same problem.
This video isn't about big cities being better than small ones. It's about the growth of cities being based on the rational choices of people and businesses. Choices we should generally support.
If we want to help enable growth in smaller cities, I'm totally in favor of zoning and permitting reform. Infrastructure investments. Link smaller cities to bigger ones with high-speed rail, so they can effectively share their economies. Even moving some government jobs. If you're honest about which ones benefit from being in the capital and which ones don't.
What I don't support is actively discouraging people or businesses from locating in big cities with zoning or other building restrictions, which is what we do now. If a person or a business decides that setting up shop in the big city is right for them, I don't think it should be government policy to tell them no, you should go to a small city instead.
Ultimately, there's only one durable solution to housing affordability: building a lot of housing wherever people want to live. Big cities, small cities, mid-sized cities too.